Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars, and I've got a 1965 Chevrolet C10 short bed pickup truck. And this one's actually got a step side with a spare tire on the side, which is really cool. It's got a V8 and a fresh rebuilt automatic transmission. In fact, we've only put probably 15 or 20 miles on the new automatic transmission, so I've been driving it around. And anyways, other than that, fairly stock. And I like this truck a lot because it's still got the original paint on the outside, and it's kind of sun faded, and I decided intentionally to kind of leave it that way. So we'll look at that in a minute. Let's take it for a quick ride. Got an awesome exhaust system. It's a really nice beefy sounding V8, 350 V8. Really great driving truck, nice and straight. It's got a nice aggressive exhaust, but it's not annoying cruising in it. Speedometer cable is not hooked up with the original speedometer going to a manual transmission. I actually have to get a little bit longer cable. It's not very expensive. I just didn't end up doing it. In fact, I've got another truck that's similar coming in. It's a 64, same exact thing. You know, had the manual taken out, automatic put in. And actually, when I bought this truck, I had a manual, and the gears were just starting to kind of grind. It sounded like it needed a clutch. So I'm holding a camera with one hand, steering with the other. It does not have power steering, but I just want you to see that it actually still steers nice and easy. Plenty of power. It's got a great lope in the exhaust. This thing sounds mean. Nice, beautiful engine detail, clean. I'm going to turn it off so we can hear a little better. Really clean truck overall. There's a couple of spots of rust on it that I actually intentionally left. I'll show you in a minute, but nice, clean under the hood. Brakes stop great. They're manual. One of the big upgrades that we encourage people to do if they want, sometimes guys are worried about the brakes, is it's not very expensive to put a booster on the original brake system, or even upgrade to a dual master cylinder. So, but even just putting what we call a coffee can booster on here costs about 150, 175 bucks. Basically a bolt-on part. Run the vacuum to the intake or the carburetor, and boom, you've got power brakes. But actually the brakes stop great on this truck. That's why I didn't mess with it. It doesn't have power steering, but it steers good. Like I showed you, you know, just even with one hand turning around in a cul-de-sac, which is a pretty nice thing to be able to do. So it's got a few little rust bubbles here and there, and I left those. Let's see, a couple things here, because I just felt like the patina on this truck was worth leaving alone. This is the original paint. It's got this fade on it. I mean, it is solid. I mean, it's nice, solid hood, straight. I mean, you could hit this truck with a buffer and it would shine up. In fact, I was gonna talking to my painter the other day, my buddy who's a painter, and he said, take a look, show people that. If you can see here, it's shiny and dull. That's actually, you know, if you wanted to, you could hit the truck with a buffer, and man, you could really shine it up. But I know how much people are looking for these kind of patinaed looking, you know, original I mean, so many guys are calling me saying, hey, I'm looking for a truck that looks like it's sat outside. I'm looking for something that's got a little, you know, crust and rust. And quite frankly, it's got a few spots on it, but it's overall a really solid truck. This is a very common spot, and you can buy that patch piece from LMC Truck or even eBay, and CarRid carries those. They cost like $35. It's not expensive to have a welder put one in. I fix a lot of those. I didn't want to mess with this because if we did that and then we had to touch up the paint, I didn't want the paint to be too shiny. So, but this cab corners are in great shape. A couple little rust spots on the bottom of the door there. Cab corners, step sides in good shape. The body on this truck overall is extremely straight. It's not perfect, but it's also, you know, 50 years old. I mean, the tailgate looks good. Another thing I didn't want to do is put a brand new bed in it, because this is the original bed, and a lot of guys are just refinishing these, sanding and refinishing these original wood beds, even taking the wood out, flipping it upside down, running it through a planer, things like that. So I just kind of wanted to leave this in the original style condition that it was in, body wise. Bumpers look good, the lights work, turn signals work. It's got brand new set of four matching tires. The hand cooks that are on the ground, and then this is actually an original old bias ply tire sitting up as a spare. Brand new beauty caps on there, and they look good. And this side actually a little bit, you know, a couple spots there on the cab corner, but looking down the doors, nice and solid here. A couple little spots. And honestly, this is one of those things that, like, we could take to the paint shop, you know, sand down, clean up, touch up, buff the truck, and really make it shine. But like I said, I just didn't want to do that, you know. At the same time as doing that, you could do this, is pretty common, you know, paint fading inside. So it's got a basically original interior, but it's got a brand new seat cover, you know, brand new upholstery, nice and clean. It does have 2 seat belts inside, and they work. And it's got a brand new carpet kit. It's got a little dirty because it's been raining here in Georgia, but and then we put a brand new shifter in. I wanted it to look like manual because it had a manual there on the floor, and the only thing is that little spot of carpet right there, which you can, unless you're really looking for it, you can't see, because the shifter for the manual was cut a little bit bigger. I like the way those shifters look because they look period correct. They look kind of like a manual shifter, you know. It looks like a Camaro or a, you know, Mustang kind of a shifter. So I believe the other gauges are working. I believe the fuel gauge works, but I'm not positive. I can see that the oil light comes on, which is nice. The idiot lights. Wipers may or may not be, I think. Okay, so I think that the wipers are actually working, but I'm having a hard time getting the switch to turn over. So that might be with something to, I can't remember, and I can't remember if that's the choke. It's got a horn button over here. And then the heater is, I believe, all hooked up and not leaking, but needs a new switch. And like I said, as I'm turning that, if you can see that the base there is wiggling, but I'm 90% sure that the wipers are working. Nice and clean. Can't remember if, nope, the interior light's not working. So a new tank was put in at some point. Doesn't smell like gas inside or anything like that. And like I said, I do believe that the fuel gauge is working. Can't say for positive. I mean, this was one of the things too, is looking up underneath the truck. These rockers are in great shape. Floor pans. So this is actually a very solid truck, even though we're seeing some rust on the outside. This is one of the more solid trucks I've seen from underneath. Usually inner cab corners and supports and things like that are rotted out, and this one is not. So nice original solid frame. Floor pan all solid. Ugh. This would be an easy truck to make a rust-free truck if you wanted to. You could do these repairs that I just showed you. And I had it when we were doing the tranny and a couple of other things. I almost made the decision to fix those, and I said, you know, I just didn't want to do that. And actually, I've met a lot of guys that are leaving the rust on the truck. In fact, I'm building a Studebaker right now, and I said, I want a modern drivetrain, and I want it to look like it just got pulled out of a field. That's what I want it to look like on purpose. And so if it's got some rust here and there, that's okay. I'm happy with that. So same on this side as the other, I believe. Just double check. Again, solid rockers. Cab corner. It's got Flowmaster exhaust. There's one little spot of rust right there about the size of a quarter or something like that. It's the only rust that I'm seeing underneath the truck. Well, there you have it, 1965 C10 short bed. I mean, this is such a cool truck. I really like it a lot. It drives absolutely great. You know, be an easy couple of little things to project on. I forgot too also to show you the top. The top is really clean. The rails are good and rust free. And like I said, a couple of small rust repairs, some touch-up paint, and a buffer. I think for less than $1,000 you could have this thing shining like a new penny. You know, so, but I kind of like it the way it is. In fact, if anything, I would almost be tempted to hit it with a sander and let it get a little more, you know, like of a patina. But it's just got such a natural, consistent patina from bumper to bumper. I mean, one thing that I love about that too is that is an indication to me that it's probably never been in any kind of accident. The fact that the paint matches exactly from bumper to bumper. So anyways, thanks for watching. We look forward to hearing from you guys. PeachtreeClassicCars.com.